guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Heather and my channel is called Goo Review, and today we're going to be talking about foundations. I have 13 different foundations in my collection that we're going to talk about. We're also going to do a little bit of a declutter. I'm going to let you guys know my thoughts and opinions on them. I also have 3 primers that I want to talk about just to kind of give you an idea of what I use in my day-to-day. So we're going to go ahead and get started with primers. I typically use 2 primers when I'm doing a full face of makeup like I am today. The first one that I'll use is Benefit's Professional, and I've already talked about this one before. I will use this in my T-zone to blur any of my pores that I have. And then sometimes if I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to rub foundation into my skin, I'll go in with the Milk Makeup Blur Stick, and it kind of does the same thing. It'll fill in fine lines and pores. And this is also really good to use on no makeup days if you just want to blur everything. So that's really nice to use. I would say my favorite out of the 2 would probably be the Professional. I think it does a better job of filling in pores, but I mean, this is better for time management. The other product that I'll use, and I'll use this every day regardless, is the Cover FX Illuminating Primer. I will actually use this around my temples and on my cheeks and sometimes on my chin. I really like this, and sometimes I'll actually, instead of putting this directly on my face, I'll mix it in with my foundation if I don't want a full matte look and I want to add some luminous glow to my foundation. Sometimes I'll just go ahead and add this to it. So where to begin? I think we'll start talking about the BB and CC creams that I have first. Like I said, I have 13 different products here to talk about, so this is going to be a long video. Alright, first one we're going to talk about is Boscia BB Cream in Light. I don't know how I feel about this. This product's kind of difficult to use. It's broad spectrum SPF 27. It's oil-free, self-adjusting shade for all skin types. I liked this the first few times that I used it. It doesn't give me as much coverage as some of my other BB and CC creams that I have. So this is good for if you're going to the pool or to the beach and you don't want a lot of coverage. But the problem that I have with this is I can't use it with a beauty blender because my beauty blender soaks up all the product. And if I use a brush, it's really streaky and it doesn't want to blend into my skin. So this is definitely one of those products that you want to warm up in your hands and use your hands to blend everything into the skin, and I'm not really a big fan of using my fingers to blend in my foundation. I got a stray hair. There we go. Just because I don't think it's very hygienic, and there's times where I've noticed where I will miss spots and it doesn't blend very easily. But I can almost get away with that because this is so light coverage. Again, I mean, it's an okay product. It's just not my favorite. Once this is out, I probably won't repurchase it. But Boscia does have a really good ingredients list for their products, and I do like that it has SPF in it. It's actually a physical SPF. The active ingredient for it is titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. So if you plan on taking pictures, don't use this because you will have flashback with the physical SPF in it. The other BB cream I got this in an Ipsy bag. It's the pur-lisse BB cream with SPF 30. I actually really like this. It's shade light. It does oxidize on me a little bit, so I use this when I'm a little bit more tan or I have to put on, quite a bit of bronzer. But this is actually really nice because I don't have to set this with a powder to get it to, stay all day. It does last all day. I can use this with a beauty blender and I can use this with a brush, and I don't notice any streaking or any product being soaked up. It's on the light to medium coverage, but I can build this up to a medium. So it's nice because I can still see some of my freckling and things like that. I actually like to use this product for work a lot. So if I'm not trying to do a full face of makeup to go into work, I'll use this product, and it's really nice. And I think once this is out, I will probably purchase the full size of it. I might see if they have a shade that's a little bit lighter than light because like I said, it does oxidize. So, I don't want it to turn too, I don't want to say orange, but I can definitely tell that if I don't blend it down my neck, there's definitely a distinct line. The next one, I'm not going to talk about this too much because I've already mentioned it, is the IT Cosmetics CC Cream with SPF 50. Love it. Definitely going to purchase the full size once this guy's out. I'm actually wearing it today. Super buildable, super comfortable. Don't have any problems. I can use this with my brush. I can use it with a beauty blender. Today I used it with a beauty blender just because I wanted, you know, a little bit more sheer coverage, but this is a really good product. It is a little bit pricey. This size is the, what size are you? 0.406 fluid ounces, 12 milliliters for $15. So, I'm not sure how much the full size is, but I definitely think it's worth it, especially for everyday use. Powders or liquids? Let's talk about powders. Now all these powders have been very well loved. Even if I hit pan, I won't purchase it until I literally can't get any more product out of it. So this is the Fit Me Set and Smooth Powder. I have it in the shade 115 Ivory. And as you can see, like I said, very well loved. And it's got a mirror. But I don't use this all over my face because it is such a light color. I use this typically underneath my eyes. And it's got a nice sheen to it, really creamy, not a ton of coverage. It is really nice to set under eyes with. I've never used this all over my face. I don't think this works as a foundation, but I do think that this works as a great setting powder. It is marketed as a foundation. Pressed powder, set and smooth for normal to dry skin, sponge and mirror inside. I don't use the sponge with it. I use a brush. One of my Real Techniques brushes I'll use to set underneath the eyes. But lately, what I've been loving to set underneath my eyes, and like I said, I don't use this under, like, all over my face. I said that in a previous video, is the Covergirl Advanced Radiance Powder. This is in the shade 110 Creamy Natural. If I can get it open. I actually hit pan on it today because I'm using it today. And it's got a little tiny useless mirror in it. It is super small. I don't know how anybody can see to do their makeup with it. But I love this because of the sheen it gives underneath my eyes. It's so subtle and like natural looking. It is marketed as a foundation, pressed powdered foundation. I don't use it all over my face because of the sheen. It looks really weird. But if you're looking for something to set your concealer or underneath your eyes with, this is a really good one and a really affordable option from the drugstore. Now on the little bit more pricey ones, now these are definitely foundations. These are very close to full coverage. If you have really dry skin, you're going to want to stay far, far away from these things because these will cling to your dry patches. The first one, and this is actually the second one I bought, is the, oh, it's so dirty. The Tarte, I think it's just, I'm not sure what it's called. It just says Tarte Confidence Creamy Powder Foundation. This is in the shade Fair Light Neutral. And I have also hit pan on this. Like I said, this is the second one I've purchased. It's got a beautifully sized mirror in it. Majorly hit pan. Very full coverage. Stunning. I absolutely love this whenever I'm having a little bit more oily days. Like, you can see the coverage on that. It doesn't cake up. It lasts all day. It does look pretty powdery. You're definitely going to want to set something like this with a setting spray. I like the Caudalie setting spray. I also really like the NYX Dew Finish setting spray, as well as the Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting spray. That one's a really good one too. So that is, I mean, like I said, this is a great product unless you have really dry skin. You're going to want to stay far away from this. I don't have super oily skin. Right now, anytime I use this, it's when my skin's a little bit, it's normal to oily, but not super oily, so I don't know how this would work with really oily skin, but as far as like normal skin, this is great. I love this, and it is very buildable without looking cakey. Now, the next one, and the reason why I haven't repurchased the Tarte one is because I discovered this, and it is my all-time favorite pressed powder foundation as of right now, and that is the Cover FX. It's the Pressed Mineral Foundation. This is in the shade P30. This guy is very well loved, and I will show you. So it did come with like a little sponge underneath here. It's got an okay sized mirror. and then you can see I've definitely hit pan. And this shade, I like this because it's not as yellow. This is more of a neutral tone. And this is also very, very full coverage without looking cakey, but it can look powdery. And you're going to want to definitely spray it down with some setting spray. But the reason why I like this one a lot more than the Tarte one is because the way my other products glide on top of the Cover FX one, my bronzers, blushes, highlighters, they just glide on and blend in so seamlessly and so beautifully that this guy is absolutely my favorite compared to this one. I mean, products blend with this one okay, but nowhere near as good as this one. So this is definitely a win for me. It is a little bit more pricey than the Tarte one, but it's definitely worth every penny. And as soon as I get to the point where I literally just can't get any more product out of it, I definitely will be repurchasing this. Now with something like these two, you don't want to use these to set foundation. If you put this on top of liquid foundation, it's going to look super cakey. You know, you're going to want to use something that's a little bit light coverage like this, or you're going to want to use a translucent setting powder like the Cover FX or the Coty Airspun powder. You can get that at Walmart, you know, or the Urban Decay Velvetizer. A loose setting powder is definitely your best option, especially with fuller coverage liquid foundations. And we're going to talk about this one here. Now, this one's, for me, this is actually one of the first high-end foundations I purchased, and not this exact bottle, but the HD Makeup Forever foundation. This is in the shade, is it 120 or is it Y245? I don't know what the shade is for these. This people talk about a lot. You get 1.01 fluid ounces in this. This is kind of like a cult classic on YouTube as it is. It comes in a pump, which is nice. Super dirty. I've had this one for a long time. In fact, it's time to get rid of this guy. But this is definitely not my shade anymore. This is like, I purchased this when I was a lot tanner, when I was using self-tanners more often. This isn't, I mean, this one's too dark for me, so I don't really use it much. The coverage is nice. The texture is okay. You definitely want to use a brush with this instead of like a beauty blender, because a beauty blender is going to soak up more of the coverage, and I can tell that it looks a little bit kind of splotchy with a beauty blender, so that's why I like to use this one with a brush. But it is a good foundation. You can build it up. I do notice that throughout the day, it's not as long wearing as some of my other foundations. Like I'll notice some of the breakdown in my nostril area and like in the crease in my chin, it'll start to break down. I'll notice it like wanting to disappear up here in between my brows, and it doesn't want to stay all day. But I can get like 6 hours of wear out of this and it looks beautiful. If I don't use the Professional with it though, if I don't prime with it, it will start to fill in my pores, and I noticed that my pores are really visible with this foundation. I probably won't be repurchasing this again. Just like I said, it didn't do anything so spectacular for my skin that I wanted to, you know, run out and get it again. If I have any breakouts or any redness, it does an okay job of covering them. I definitely have to go in and spot conceal with this though, because it's not super full coverage, but it does have a nice light consistency. I think it might be water-based, actually. I'm not for sure on that, but it is so light feeling and not heavy that I do think it might be water-based, which is nice. The next one, which these two I do know for sure are water-based, I've actually purchased 2 of them. One of them is almost completely empty, and that is in the shade 1. Yeah, this one's empty, but I kept it for this video. This one is a little bit too dark for me. I had to use a lot of bronzer just to get it to work. These are the Naked Skin by Urban Decay Weightless Ultra Definition Liquid Makeup. I love these. They're peptide infused, light diffusing, paraben free. You get 1 fluid ounce. These are awesome. These are great. In fact, if I had the time to wear this foundation every single day of my life, I probably would. I can't even feel like I'm wearing foundation when I use this, and it's so light that I can even get away without even setting it. It is a medium coverage foundation. You can build it to a full coverage. This looks great when you use a beauty blender and when you use a brush. No matter how you apply this, this looks really good. It blends in seamlessly to my skin. The shade 0.5 is a perfect color match for my skin, and I absolutely love these. They are a little bit pricey, but for me, it's worth every penny, and these do last almost all day on my skin. I think the longest I've worn this was like 8 or 9 hours, and I was like on a flight the whole time, and when you're flying, and you gotta go through security, and the stress of flying standby, foundation usually just disappears. This lasted all day. It was a true testament to how much I love this foundation, and it's amazing. Again, you get 1 fluid ounce. Great product, paraben free. I recommend this for anybody unless you have super oily skin. If you have really oily skin, you're definitely going to want to set this with a setting powder, but I think you can get away with it. It's a great product, especially if you have dry skin. If you have dry skin, you're going to love this guy. It's not going to cling to your dry patches because it is water-based. You do want to give it a really good shake. It comes in a nice pump here, so that's good. I really do like Urban Decay's foundations, and that brings me to the next one. This is the shade 2.5 Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation. I've used quite a bit of this. This is a special occasion foundation, for sure. The coverage on this is ridiculous. This will cover everything. In fact, when I use this, I don't even have to spot conceal any pimples or anything like that. I try to be careful not to get this too much underneath my eyes, because if I use this, go over the top of it with an under eye concealer, it does look super cakey. But, oh, and that's the other thing. A little bit of this guy goes a long way. I have found myself using way too much of this before and it looking really cakey. And when I first started using this, I thought it was going to be similar to the Naked Skin. So I was using way more than what I needed. And at first I didn't like this product because it was so cakey and it was way too much foundation. But then when I started cutting back, I really, really liked it. I prefer to use this with a beauty blender just to kind of take back some of that full coverage. I mean, it's a full beat. It's a mask. So if that's what you're looking for, this is a great product and it lasts so long. When I put this on, it's not coming off until I want it to come off. Again, this is shade 2.5. This isn't my exact shade. This shade is actually lighter, and the reason being is because I had bought this before. I bought it in my exact shade. The big problem with this foundation that you have to be careful of is it oxidizes like crazy. So I went a shade and a half or a shade lighter than what I would normally wear, because within 10 to 15 minutes it oxidizes, and this actually turns into my perfect shade once it oxidizes. When I got my actual shade, it oxidized and it almost went 2 shades darker and it was almost orange. And I hated it for that. So I figured, you know, I really like the texture, I like the coverage, I like the consistency. I'm just going to exchange it for a lighter shade and see how that works. And that seemed to work out perfectly. It is, again, in a pump, and you're going to want to give it a really good shake. Like I said, this isn't your everyday foundation. This is like special occasion. I'm getting married, I'm going to prom, I've got pictures foundation. And that's another good thing. I don't think there's any SPF in this. At least not that I've noticed, and you get 1 fluid ounce of product. You can wear this for pictures, and there isn't any flashback. It can get cakey if you're not careful. Like I said, you're going to want to use a little bit because it goes a long way. But for me, this is my all-time favorite full coverage foundation, like full mask, full coverage foundation. It is pricey. Like I said, it's Urban Decay, but for full coverage, this is my like go-to. Now another full coverage one, oh my god, this was a gift, and I hate it. I'm getting rid of it. I'm passing it along to somebody else. I thought I would like it. I heard a lot of good things about this product, but I hate it. It is probably the worst foundation I've ever put on my face. I used it once, hated it, thought, okay, you know, I'll try it a different way. I'll use less, whatever. I tried to make this work. I wanted it to work, but it didn't work. And that is this guy, the Stila Illuminating Foundation. You get 1 fluid ounce of product, comes in a pump. This is the weirdest foundation I've ever used. This is in the shade 40 watts. I almost like want to show you. It's like chunky and looks gritty, and it is full coverage, but once you blend it out, like look, it doesn't want to blend, it just wants to move all over the place. And once it is set to your skin, you can see like it's just moving around. It doesn't want to blend. It's just moving. It looks greasy. It looks oily. And I can almost see like sparkles, like glitter. Like it's not illuminating. It's like full on glitter. And this sticks to every single pore that you have. And it doesn't just go over the top of them and blur them. Like this accentuates every pore you have. Even if you use a pore filling primer. Like I actually ended up using this all over my face the second time just to see if it would work. And I mean, even this couldn't combat it. This is by far the worst foundation I've ever used. In fact, I'm pretty sure Stila discontinued this foundation, which is strange to me because this actually has really good reviews for it. But like I said, I think it's discontinued. This is one of those foundations where you're either really gonna love it or you're really gonna hate it, and I'm the latter. I really hate it, and I'm getting rid of this. I don't like it. And that's the other thing too, the smell. It smells like straight up chemicals. Like I don't know what's in this, but it gives me a headache. I don't like it. Now this next one is a gem. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. I have the shade Nude Ivory. You get 1 fluid ounce of product for $6. Full coverage. In fact, it reminds me very much of my Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. There's a couple things I hate about this and a couple things I really love. This is a love-hate. It wears all day. It is very full coverage. The price you just can't beat. $6 at the drugstore. They have a ton of shade options. It is cruelty-free. See the little bunny? Cruelty-free. That's always nice. Here's what I hate about it. What is that? It's a spatula. That's not very hygienic. I don't like that it's like that. I mean, I guess you have to make sacrifices with packaging. Things that are in a pump are a little bit more expensive. So, I mean, I guess in order to maintain the price of this, you know, they've cut corners. But the good thing is they didn't cut corners when it came to the formula. This is a really good one. It does oxidize a teeny bit. Not nearly as much as the All Nighter foundation. Not nearly as much, but it does still oxidize. This is a wonderful product. If you're on a budget, or if you're like wanting to start off like playing with full coverage makeup and doing like the full mask, this is the way to go. You do want to give it a really good shake. It says it was tested under 7 light conditions, you know, with top smartphone models and with and without flash, goodbye photo flashback. That's the whole thing about their photo focus line, is that it's advertised that you can use it with flash photography and it not have any flashback, and this really doesn't. This does not have any flashback at all when I use this. I do notice that after about hour 5, I do have to touch up my nose a little bit. This sits really well with concealer. My other products blend okay with it, you know, not as seamlessly as I would like, but you know, it does take me a little bit more time. But when I set this with the Coty Airspun powder, that's my favorite combination to use with this. I don't know if it's like drugstore with drugstore theme, but the Coty Airspun powder works really well with this. And excuse me, again, like I said, $6 at the drugstore. I think I paid like 30 something dollars for this. $6 for this, and they are practically the same thing. In fact, this one might almost be better. It's hard to say. This one is not as long lasting and long wearing as this one. And you get a pump with this one, but is that worth the extra amount of money? That's for you to decide. But this guy, this is a true gem. I absolutely love it. I encourage everyone to try this. The other one that's really good from the drugstore that is super full coverage, it can look kind of cakey. It looks cakey on me. I've actually decluttered it. I don't have it anymore. Is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Foundation. I liked it, but then I had to get rid of it because it was not my shade. I lost my tan. The problem that I have with that line is they don't carry the foundation for my pale people out there, such as myself. They didn't have, I mean, the lightest shade was like pretty tan. So I ended up giving it to my sister. Like, she's always been the tan baby of the family. She got more of the Cherokee genes in her than the rest of us. So I ended up passing that along to her, and she absolutely loves it. But as far as foundations, like, we went through all 13 foundations. That's a lot of foundations. Not proud of it. The main ones that I'm definitely going to be keeping is the It Cosmetics, my pur-lisse, the Covergirl. It's time to get rid of this. It's time. I like this one way more than this one, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. I'm just going to throw it away. Like, no one's going to want that. I'm going to finish using this because this was pretty pricey, the Boscia one. I'm going to finish using it. I'm not going to repurchase it, though. That's not going to happen. I'm going to keep using this. I've only used this like 9 times, and there's still a crap ton of product in this. This is kind of the same as the all-nighter. A little bit goes a long way. Definitely going to keep using that. Love it. Gonna keep using the all-nighter whenever I have special occasions. Definitely going to keep that. The one that's empty, I'm just going to get rid of. I literally held on to it for the sake of this video. Kind of keep using this. This is a ride or die everyday foundation for me, like for weekends or whatever. The Makeup Forever HD, time to get rid of. Passing it on. Don't use it, don't need it, don't want it. Stila, I don't know who's going to want this. It honestly deserves to be in the dumpster somewhere, but I'm sure someone in my family or my future sister-in-law is going to want it, so I'll pass that along, see if any of them like it. These two guys, I'm going to finish using them till they're all gone, and I'm going to be repurchasing this one, the Cover FX, instead of the Tarte. I actually haven't seen this around anywhere, so if this has been discontinued, if any of you guys know, if you guys seen this around and you know where to get it, let me know, because I might repurchase it, but I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm almost thinking either they repackaged it or they've discontinued it. And if they discontinued it, that's kind of a shame, because this is actually a really good product. So that is everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you can be part of the Goo Crew, and tune in next week. We've got another declutter and swatch video coming up, and I'm super excited about it, and that is also going to be a really long video because we're going to go through all my lipsticks. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!